Okay.
Afternoon. I'm Thomas Lawson. I'm an intern here at Lafayette Police Department, and I'm here today with my supervisor, Sergeant Perry Amos. Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Sergeant Amos, before you became a sergeant, how long were you a police officer with LPD, and when did you become a sergeant in the department?
Was with the department 18 years and became a sergeant actually almost exactly a year ago. Became a sergeant on June 19th of 2008.
Okay. And second question, I know that an internship program has been going on for 20 years here at LPD. What do you think are some of the pros and cons of the internship program?
Personally, I love the internship program. I think it's some of the pros about it is it gives a chance to, I guess one best way to put it this way, you always have people that always wanted to be police officers. I always at one point thought about this would be a nice career, but you don't always know what it really means. And you can't go by, and not that I'm anti-media, but you can't go by what you see and what you hear to understand what it really means to be a police officer. So an internship program actually gives people a chance to find out, is this really what they want to do? Is this really what they pictured? And sometimes it's a lot more than they ever thought it was going to be, and they find out, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. As opposed to getting into a job and trying to commit yourself and heading in this direction, and then find out later on, you know what, wasn't exactly what I pictured. So that's one of the greatest pros I see. It gives potential candidates or people interested in law enforcement a chance to see what it's like, or at least to get a glimpse of what it's like from the patrol officer's point of view, from a police officer standpoint. It may not cover everything there is about law enforcement, but it gives them a good view of it. The cons about it is, like in our department, I would love to have it paid. That's one of the cons I have about it. I really don't see that many other cons, really, because I see more positives than I can see anything negative about the intern program.
Okay. And third question, what can an intern expect with an internship with Lafayette Police Department?
My goal is for an intern to be able to have a chance to see the different aspects. And I'm hoping that they should be able to see the whole process from how we process the reports into the records and all the information that's actually contained there. Because what I found out is when I first became an officer, I didn't always understand what was in records, what all the information was there, and the value of the information there. It's kind of like being a detective. Detective, or I guess what the best way to put it is, recently we did some training. One of the training things we talked about was building offender profiles. Offender profiles are good criminal profiles, or good offender profiles are based on data and history of what's gone before. If you don't know what's contained in the records, you don't know, except for what's in your head, how to base on what's gone on before, how it happened, how was it dealt with before, how the process worked. So there's value in being in records, and there's value being in dispatch, so you understand how the process comes in, to see how everything feeds in. And then we have the process of being on the street as an officer to see how the officers do things. That's my goal for internship, to see all those processes and then get them into detectives so they can see step by step how the department runs. Because I found, and we're trying to change it even right now with our own department, we're trying to change the way we've done some things. In the past, we've had compartmentalized. Records did what their job, and they weren't really told what the officers did or how the officers trained. Dispatchers were trained with what they were trained, and they really weren't told what happens out there on the street and why the officers do what we do and what we ask for. And what we're trying to do now is we're even kind of taking some of the ideals of the internship program and trying to make our department better. So now we're doing some training, and we're inviting the records clerks to come out and the dispatchers to come out. And right now I have some paperwork where I'm going to try to set up some new training for dispatchers to kind of get different aspects of our job to come in and sit down and explain to them what our canine officers do and what do they do when they hit the street. What do we need here? And so they understand what it is, so they can picture it when they're there, and it'll help them become better dispatchers, better records clerks, and it's just a way that helps officers become better officers, because you can picture the process down here and to see how it all flows. So that's kind of my goal, is trying to get the interns to see how everything flows, so they can get a good overview about what it is.
Okay. My last question is, how is the internship beneficial not just for the intern, but for the department and community as well?
Well, for the department, as I said, it's kind of changing our own view of how we're looking at things. When you start looking at how, it's one of the best things I love about teaching, is it causes you to evaluate yourself. Anytime I've ever taught, I've had to do some self-evaluation to see where I'm at, what I need to do better, how I'm going to do things better, how I'm going to take my game to the next level. Because if I'm going to instruct somebody, I want to make sure I'm doing everything I need to be doing right, which causes us to kind of look at things like, you know what, how are we doing with the training for our own department? How are we training our own department, and are we missing some things here? If we're talking about trying to change the way we do the training for the intern program and trying to get the information out there for the interns, what's the value of that? Okay, if this is a value for an intern, why wouldn't it be a value for the rest of our department to have an understanding of how the department runs? So it kind of opened our eyes and say, well, yeah, let's kind of change what we're doing here in our own house. So in-house, it changes a lot of things we're doing. I love that part. Also, having officers with an intern, like I said, it causes them to try to want to be better. So every time we have an intern, whether it's in records clerks or in the records department, it causes records to be more proficient at what they're doing, because they're trying to make sure they have everything down right when they try to teach it. So every division has to up their game every time the intern walks in the door, because it's easy to become complacent because it's just routine day. So every time we have an intern, it causes us to kind of raise up. As far as the city, one of the best things I can probably say is you fight misinformation and disinformation. You're bringing people from the community into, well, behind the curtain. Sometimes people believe that there's like a hidden curtain behind which, that unless you're watching a TV show, CSI or something like that, you really don't know what we do. And that's just such a warped view to show what's on TV and say that's a good view of what we do. It's not close. So to be able to have somebody come from the community inside and see how things work and see how things act, and to have them go back out in the community, well, one, the community is being better served because we're changing the way we're doing things. So our department's already up in the game, so we're going to bring a better product to the city. And our product is service. So when we up our game, we bring a better service product to the community around us. And then you have people that came in that are back out in the community. They can explain what we're doing, and when the service doesn't meet what the expectation of people are, they can say, well, look, I was an intern. I can tell you why they can't do what you want them to do. So you have education possibilities, not just from officers interacting with the community and educating. You have interns out there that can now educate not only their friends, but the surrounding people and their contacts. And it's the domino theory. I tell one person, he tells two people, and then it keeps on spreading outwards. So you get more information out to the community, so they have a better understanding overall. You can help educate the community to our limitations sometimes. There's a lot of them sometimes that we just can't do what we want to do. It kind of changes the view that people have of us. So, things I love about it.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem.